And welcome to the Grindhouse. This is episode 17. It's kind of cool that we actually made it this far.
We're almost legal. Legal.
There was a study that said that, and I think I talked about this in an earlier episode, is that they say if you don't make it past issues or episode 7, that you're just not going to continue doing it. So it's like episode 7 is the big thing. We're now 10 over that, which means in Pathfinder terms, we got a critical, and we are, ready and good to go.
What happens if your podcast goes over 1,000 episodes?
That's a super duper critical. You explode. I don't know.
Dead Robot Society, which I co-host, has been up and running for 15, 16 years at this point. Weekly, every single week with special episodes. Sometimes, if it's not at 1,000, it's real close. I think it's over.
All right. So I'm JC. I'm the host of this show. So you'll notice that we are Patless today. However, we do have a new guest to join us, and hopefully
we're Mikeless.
We're Mikeless too.
Yeah.
So actually, you shouldn't be hearing this at this point. We should just be. Never mind. I'm tired.
Bad joke. Very bad joke.
It's a dad joke. It's supposed to be funny. Anyway, so JC, I am the host. I'm also the head of Grindhouse Media. I'm a RPG publisher. I wear hats from time to time. Take it as you will. But anyway, let's go around and talk to everybody. So, Gwen.
Hello. I was expecting Bryce first, and so I was just like, oh, okay. Hello.
All right, Terry.
Hi there.
Out in TV land. And Bryce.
Hey. Oh, and to answer Dana's chat in the chat. Yes, this is Bryce, not the other Bryce.
Another Bryce? Is that like
it's not Bryce? The mirror universe Bryce, it's the real Bryce.
Yeah, that one has a smooth face.
He's got that Riker first season face.
Yeah.
Which he actually did later on in another, I think it was in Deep Space Nine, where Tom Riker comes back and is like trying to, yeah, and he tries to lead some sort of rebellion or something, and they finally arrest him. I think he steals the Defiant. I can't remember.
He was part of the Maquis.
Yeah, that's right. He was. He was part of the Maquis. So, but anyway, we have a real Bryce with us, not that artificial Bryce that you get at like
not a transporter.
Not a transporter accident.
Yeah.
Not a Safeway Scotch buy Bryce. It's a which okay. So I'm just going to go on a little tangent before we go on this. So Safeway, I don't think anyone has. You don't have Safeways in Texas, do you, Terry?
I've seen Safeway, so there's got to be some around somewhere.
Yeah, we don't have them on the East Coast. So going to a Safeway when I'm back on the West Coast is amazing. It's this like experience. Like the doors open, light floods out, and I go in and float on the wings of angels. And there was a brand that I used to love called Scotch Buy, and it was basically like your crappy above generic brand, but for some reason that made me happy. And when I went back this recent time, I found out that there's no more Scotch Buy, and it made me really sad. I don't know why, but anyway.
I may have seen it when I went to Oregon and Washington State, so I don't know where I saw it, but I've seen them before.
Do you have Piggly Wigglies in Texas?
I believe so.
Okay, awesome. Gwen, what are the grocery chains? Because this is an important discussion. What are the grocery chains up there in Canada?
We have Sobeys, and we have Safeway, and Giant Tiger.
Ooh,
I feel the need to shop at Giant Tiger. I don't know what they have, but I really feel the need to shop there.
Sounds
Also,
like something you should yell into a wristwatch to control. Giant Tiger attack!
Also, Superstore. You guys have Superstore?
No.
I love these for stores. We also have Big Box, and
We have Costco.
Yeah.
But you need like a membership to get in.
Costco is. I don't know. Like that almost just now makes me. If I ever open my own grocery store, I just want to call it something really ridiculous, like Blue Shoes or something. It's like, yeah, the shop for Blue
Shoe.
What does it sell? Kitten.
Feng Shui.
Yeah.
I know a guy that set up. He was running a mall that his father owned. It was like this really failed mall. He was trying to fill it with God only knows what, and he was going to put an eatery in there, just an El Cheapo eatery. And he's like, I don't know what to call it. I said, you're just going to sign up for people to come here. Just put "Eat Here" in the little signs pointed out.
Dude,
So that's what he named it, "Eat Here."
That is actually kind of brilliant.
All right, so let us go into our first semi-topic. I really need to change that bumper because all it's doing is showing Amsterdam sex houses with This Week in Gaming popping up.
We know exactly what you're thinking about there, JC.
During that bumper,
yeah.
I needed to run off stage and get like changed into a completely different like gimp outfit. It's like this is my new role-playing game.
So, all right, This Week in Gaming. I guess I will go first. So actually a lot of things. So one, I'm preparing for a convention called ShireCon that's happening in Connecticut the mid of September. And as usual, I get really excited about running an old game that I haven't played in years. And then as I get to 2 weeks before the game, I sit there and go, why did I choose this game to run? But I'm actually going to be running a couple of sessions of TSR's Alternity science fiction role-playing game, which actually has a really brilliant mechanic and is super simple, but I always end up getting cold feet. What else? So there's a Pathfinder game I run on Wednesdays. Terry's in that game, so that's been kind of fun. They just managed to get to their first milestone, gone up
without all of us dying. Woo!
Well, one of you almost died. I'm going to go off by myself and cross this rickety old bridge.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, as he fell 50 feet and almost died. This one's for you, Gideon. This one's for you. God, I got a lot of stuff coming up. I got a second edition AD&D game I'm prepping for in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, I'm also going to be running a one-shot, and Terry, I believe you're in that as well, of
Gonad the Barbarian.
Yeah, the 2D20 version. So I'm actually doing more gaming than I want to. And I like this weekend, I'm sitting there going, I really want a game this weekend. But luckily, there's not a lot of people around who want a game. So
if you're bored,
I want a game. I'm just not around.
If you're bored, James, why don't you join me on the Dead Robot Society this weekend?
Oh, that would be fun. Ooh. I don't know if I'd have anything to offer. I'm not like.
Oh, sure, you're a game creator. We're creatives. We talk creative stuff.
All right,
we'll talk after the show's over, and right. I'll make arrangements.
Absolutely.
I know some people.
All right. Bryce, have you done any gaming this week at all, or thought about it?
That's kind of the funny thing is, the pandemic almost sealed my gaming thing. Oh, there is something. There it is. There is something I did run into. Hold on, as I stretch my hands over to. I was beginning this year. We did a couple of online gaming, Zoom gaming, blah blah blah, that sort of stuff. And I got to dig out this beautiful. Let me just show you the
packaging is amazing.
Yes, born in 1986. I bought this.
Gamma World, been there.
Wow.
Mission. Unfortunately, the what do you call it? Focus that's keeping my filthy room from being discussed on here is not showing that. But yeah, we played some first edition Gamma World, which was really, really amazing because we're trying to do it the raw way, or rules as written. And it was really, when you get into the weeds of some of the details on that. This is back when they're kind of like hybrid war games, more war gamey than role playing gamey stuff, and it was not what I was expecting. Definitely not what we played back in the '80s, but or at least what my group played in the '80s because we're like 12, but still a lot of fun.
No, that's awesome, especially like original because that was before they went in. So Gamma World went into a couple of really weird rules changes. So the first edition was very close to like BX D&D, Basic Expert.
Exactly, yeah.
And then second edition went into that Marvel superhero thing where it had the chart, the colored chart where you had to roll and then you look at the chart and do this magic and then what color depend you landed on did XYZ. And it lasted like that for a couple of like second and third, and then fourth got weird and did some. But anyway, Gamma World's good stuff. I always want to play the mutant rabbits, even though they're NPCs. I just think like
the hoops, yes.
Yeah, the ones that can like look at things and turn them to rubber, which never made any sense.
They changed metal into rubber. Yeah,
because that's what rabbits do, right?
That is the rabbits, and that's kind of the neat thing is because I did have a couple of the older editions. I don't have them within reach. The older editions or the newer editions, excuse me, available. Like you said, three. I had level. The game we played, we can almost call version 1.5 because we stole a couple of charts from 2 into there. But yeah, it's really weird. I also had 5, which became like this card game. It was just absolutely mind-bogglingly, pardon my French, stupid, playing it. But yeah, it was really kind of neat to get the old school game going. And of course, they're very hardcore. You roll 3 and you put them in order, damn it. And it's like, okay, yeah. Don't you dare bank your points.
All right. So, Gwen, anything in gaming since we've last? It's been a couple weeks. I think it's been 2 weeks now. So, anything come up gaming-wise?
Yes. So, for a while, I was looking into Shadowrun Anarchy, which you suggested in the last stream, and was really enjoying what I was reading. I like that there's rules to kind of like keep it to the old school not RuneScape, Jesus. Shadowrun, where it's like, you have proper initiative instead of relying on the GM. Or not GM, the weird narration system. And was kind of just like looking around online at like opinions and thoughts about the game. I looked into actually my co-worker / boss at Eldritch Osiris Games gave me a sneak peek at the Pathfinder 2nd Edition playtest, and can't share anything about that, but I'm excited.
Oh, that's that's basically 2.5, isn't it? It's the one that
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, where they said we don't want to have anything to do with what Wizards of the Coast published, so we're changing everything. Even though we just sold the second version like a year and a half ago, so
yeah,
I think that's kind of crappy, but still, no, it's cool. I mean, I heard they're going to fix a lot of the classes, but
yeah, I'm excited for it. And then in like video gaming space, I'll be getting a PS5 tomorrow, and I picked up Armored Core 6. And very excited to play that over the weekend with my stepdad because he's really into cars and my mom's really into giant robots. So
that definitely works out.
I remember it was super punishing though.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited for it. I love punishing games. Like I'm super into Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2. And so I'm very looking forward to this.
Dark Souls, the game I can't even get past that stupid demon that interrupts you. Like when you first, you get your first campfire, you go through those doors, you walk through, and then that demon pops out of the ground and kills me over and over and over again. And therefore I stop playing because I get frustrated. But
you gotta go through the door that opens.
Yeah, well, no one.
There's a pile of shattered controllers in his room.
Yeah,
thrown against the wall.
Oh, I have my own little graveyard over the years.
Terry, what about? I know one of them, but go ahead. What have you been doing work-wise?
Gaming,
yeah.
Well, over the last week, strangely enough, you're involved in most of the gaming that I do. So there. The only other gaming I do is I play some Traveler via email and some stuff with friends that I've had for about. This game has been ongoing for like 25 years in one form or another. So
Email-based gaming.
yeah, it's pretty old and it just keeps going along. We're just waiting for all the players to die literally off.
Yeah. So, but actually, even before that, predating email, wasn't there like gaming? Because I remember an old Dragon magazine, they had things where you can role play by mail. Where
Oh
like
my
you would
God.
Yes, I believe it. I really do.
No, that was.
I was thinking
that was-
fax, not actual mail.
Now,
Oh my God.
I remember going through bulletin board systems and doing games on forums on bulletin boards before the internet was a thing.
Oh yeah, no, it will be yeah. But so Bryce, do you remember the mail-in? I'd like. I don't even. I'd love to know how that worked.
Oh
'Cause-
yeah, no, I was in one of them, and basically you would email what your things you're going to do for the week, what training you're doing, that sort of stuff, because they're real big on downtime stuff. But yeah, it was really fun. Of course, those are the days when you can put $1.99 in the mail and get 99 army men in different poses sent to you in a little box.
And yeah, and also you can send away for those wonderful undersea kingdoms with those people who had crown heads and tridents and sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys.
Yep, sea monkeys, X-ray glasses that worked. You know, the 70s and 60s were a wonderful time for technology.
You know, I bought those X-ray glasses. My mom insisted she check them out before I could have them.
You know, it's just. But sea monkeys, I think, were the biggest scam because as a kid, you look at that and it's like, oh wow, look, they build little kingdoms and they're friggin' brine shrimp. Like, that's not very exciting. You buy a fish to eat your brine shrimp. So,
As someone who grew up in the early 2000s and 90s, sea monkeys were almost like a myth to me.
Well, yeah, they are mythical because their kingdom's mythical.
You could order those in the magazines where you look in the back and you see the skinny guy get sand kicked in his face and suddenly he's this big and he's doing stuff there. Everybody of that age remembers that particular thing as well.
Yeah, that was Mr. Atlas, I think.
I think it was.
Yeah,
something like that.
Mr. Wow. Now I'm fondly remembering all these things from my like Savage Sword of Conan comic book days when you actually looked in there and you had like the Hostess commercials where Hulk is eating a Hostess Twinkie because something horrible happened, or
you see, that's the sort of stuff I want to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, real life Hostess ads.
Oh wow, there you go. Yep. Oh no, the multiverse is gonna shatter. I don't care. I got my Hostess Twinkie.
So my excitement for gaming this week was watching James try to go ahead and figure out how he'd managed to lock himself out of the Forge account because he couldn't run the game because it kept demanding a password.
Oh.
It was a challenge, but we got in, and only one person almost died. So I think it's a win. It's a win.
Now, can you imagine that happening in real life gaming or like in the 80s? Going, sorry guys, my DM screen won't open until I can't remember the name.
I have to select all of the cop cars on this screen.
Until you,
am I human?
Yeah, until you put $25 into the Patreon account, this screen will not open.
With tablets and digital downloads of books, I could totally see that where it's just like you've got your rules on your tablet and it's just, oh, your subscription ended.
Only once.
Or the worst thing to get a little bit more chilling about, just imagine real-time updates to your game, but your tabletop game of going, oh, okay, I guess this rule isn't in there anymore.
Oh.
All right, so let's get into our next topic. All right. I call this a hot button topic because I think we're all going to have opinions on them. And as I was talking to Gwen via Twitter a few days ago, or maybe it was last week. Anyway, the last time we actually talked about what the topics are going to be. I think we have different views on this week's.
I think we have similar views.
Yeah, but it's so this should be interesting anyway. And those in the audience, please pipe in. I'm gonna have the comments here because I would definitely like your thoughts. And so the topic today is safety tools in role-playing games.
Ooh.
All right. And I believe since this was your suggestion, Gwen, why don't you go ahead and start us off and let the bitching and moaning and groaning go forth.
All right. So I'm kind of in like the middle with it, I guess, because on one hand, it's like it can be a nice tool, especially like the sheets that like you ask people what their lines are or whatever, to like hand those out and get back a response and be like, okay, so I can't do nudity, sexual stuff, racism, slavery, etc. But at the same time, you could also use it as like a filter of like, hand it to everyone who wants to join your game of like the, 10 people who apply and just only accept the ones who come back with like, the ones who are okay with the game that you want to run with like, oh yeah, I'm okay with slavery and racism as long as you beat up the slavers and racists.
So Gwen, let me give a 5,000-foot view to anyone who's not familiar what safety tools are. I mean, we are because we're very close to it. So safety tools, they've been around theoretically they've been around for a while, but most prevalent in the early 2010s. John something Greek, who actually I know, and I feel bad that I can't remember his name, was one of the developers of the X card. So in general, what safety tools are various tools that are created to be used at a table so that if anyone has an issue or trauma or any sort of PSTD about a topic in a game, they have these tools to use around the table with the game master in order to basically stray away from things that might be triggering or mentally harmful to them. All right. So there are the X cards. There's something I believe it's called the flower. There's always the
flower is.
Yeah, I'll go into so. And I don't want to steal your thunder, but let me.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. So the X card is pretty simple. I don't know if I have a card around here, but I will. Oh, I do have a card. It's not an X card, but we'll pretend.
It's a MasterCard.
Yeah, no, it's a tattoo studio card. So let's just say I'm running a game with all of you, and I'm starting to get into. So let's just say Bryce is horribly afraid of grapes.
I knew it. I knew that's what your weakness was.
A crate of grapes fell on him as a child and kidnapped him and shoved him in a closet and wouldn't let him out. And ultimately, he just, so it's traumatic. So every time Bryce sees grapes, it's this chilling feeling and he has to smash them or leave. So let's just say I'm running an RPG game for everybody here. And suddenly, you're in a dark dungeon and you're walking down. There's all these noises, and the Fruit of the Loom guys jump out, and the guy that's dressed like the grape is holding an axe. And this is really traumatic to Bryce because of the childhood grape syndrome. And so Bryce would take his X card and hold it up right away. I don't have a big X here, and that would signify to me as the game master that I needed to change,
scrap your entire campaign and start over.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Exactly. So maybe I have to then reframe it as this oh, well, you thought you saw those things that I'm not going to say the name of, but realistically it was a group of peaches that came out, and since Bryce is okay with peaches, we can continue on the game. So that is.
And I flash my X card.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this can be really annoying for a game master who's trying to run a game, and suddenly it's like everyone at the table is triggered by everything in the game.
Mm.
That almost sounds like a game in its own, but I'll leave that to explore later.
There's also one called, I think it's called Shades and Veils, maybe, which is something that's, I think that I like I don't. So I'll get into if we use them or not in a bit. I'm not going to go there yet, but it's one that I found that works the best in a way. So what'll happen is at the beginning of a game, especially this happens a lot of convention games, the game master will say, this is the game I'm running. These are the things that might happen in the game. So I remember the one that there might have been some sort of romantic content in the game, and the game master, so he's going over and everyone's like, no, I'm good with that, but everyone was pretty much uncomfortable with the idea of talking about romantic acts in the game. So what ended up happening is the game master said, all right, well, I'm going to put a veil on that. So realistically, it's a fade to black. So the game master's going and going and going, and once that piece of the content comes up, he will just basically say, and we fade to black, and then he would pick up on the next part. So it doesn't particularly stop the game in progress, but at least everyone knows where that line is drawn, and the game master can basically work to fade that out, which is one of the ones that I think works the best if you're gonna have a game. The other one I can think of is called The Flower, which I learned about at Metatopia in New Jersey, I think maybe 5 years ago. And I think Dave was on for a while. And if you can remember what the safety tool is actually called, please pipe in. But so anyway, what it was is basically a flower with petals that was on the table, and it was different colors. And each of the colors were basically represented an emotion. So let's go back to the grape situation. So, Lufrudum, grape guy, jumps out with the axe. So one of the colors might be fear. And at that point, Bryce would put his hand on the petal that was fear. So the game master knew that he was afraid of the grapes. But, so it'd be like fear or, other sorted emotions. Now, if everyone was happy, there'd be a happy flower or petal, and everyone hit happy, and the game master knew to continue on. So, but those are ideas of safety tools. No, Dana, yeah, I mean, we never use those because they're fairly new, and yes, they are very overcomplicated. So let's see. So I guess I will go, and I always seem to. So tell me to shut up, someone, if I'm going too much on our
far too late for that, buddy. Just keep on going.
There's my flower. I'm pointing to.
All right.
We need X cards to go ahead and shut James up when he gets talking. No.
All right. So and then the last one is Session 0, which I actually believe in because because Session 0 realistically is you get your group together and you say, all right, here's the game I'm gonna run. So we did this a while back with a Deadlands game that I ran, and I was like, okay, so we're going to be playing Deadlands. There's definitely going to be a lot of violence. There's going to be bloodshed. There's going to be corruption. There's going to be political intrigue. All these things going on. And honestly, I might as well have just kind of drew pictures of Popeye and showed them on the screen because I know my gamers, and they would probably bitch that there wasn't enough bloodshed in it. It's like, look, there's not enough decapitation in this game.
Needs more decapitation.
Yeah, exactly. So Session 0 is a wash when it comes to that discussion, but it's a good discussion to have because ultimately, so actually I was reading something online where they had a Session 0 for Vampire the Masquerade, and one of the players was afraid of blood. It's like,
awkward.
Why are you in this game?
Why are you here?
Yeah, exactly. But sessions, so I will say yes. I do Session 0s before a game, just really talk about characters and things like that. Sure, we'll talk about subject matter, but like I said, I know my gamers, and honestly, not enough decapitation is usually something they'll scream out. So going back, so Gwen, since this was your topic that I just kind of stepped on,
Bogarted
you
all
were
over
very
the
helpful.
place.
do you use any of those safety tools at all?
So I don't use X cards or anything like that, but what I do use when it's a new game with a new group, I will send out like a checklist, like right between like green, yellow, and red, how you feel about these things. And I'll have like specific ones added too for like the campaign. Like I did a one shot where there was a giant spider, so I was like, okay, are you people okay with spiders? Are people okay with dragons? Are people okay with kobolds? And one person was not comfortable with spiders. One person had a fear of spiders, and so I was like, okay, I have to change the spider out for something else. And with that, I worked on it for a bit, and I made the spider into a magical crochet kobold, as that fit like the setting, as it was like very kobold themed in it. So it was a lot of fun, and it made for a very memorable fight. And one guy had a scarf, and it lit on fire partway through the adventure, and he was extremely sad. And yeah, that's basically how I use the safety tools. And I also use Session Zero, but that's usually more of setting up your characters, setting up how everybody knows everybody, instead of like, oh, does anybody have trauma with, ghosts? Your adventurers, like, come on.
All right, Terry, have you used these before at all, or?
I have never used anything like that, although I have done variants of the Session Zero. Usually when I'm running a game, it's with people that I've gamed with for a long period of time. When I was doing my heaviest game running was back in the Army, and it was always a hodgepodge of players. And that initial thing of, okay, we're sitting down, we're playing this, let's make characters, here's a rough sketch of what we're doing, and we go. And if it's not, am I going to change the game? Here's what I'm running. If that's not your bag, come back next weekend. So it was helpful in keeping people from, maybe if you had a problem with slavery and we're running slave pits of the Undercity, this may not be the game for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. It's kind of like when I see people complaining online on Twitter, being like, "Oh, how dare Baldur's Gate 3 have racism and slavery? Like, aren't we above this?" And it's like, you do realize that incites conflict and wanting to change things. And yes, you can be an asshole and join the slavers or join the racism, but like that's the fun of a roleplay game.
If you scrub out all of the horrible, nasty things that can happen in real life or in a role-playing game, you're left with nothing but pablum.
Exactly.
Why are you even playing?
Yeah, why are we here?
And it's, I honestly believe I've seen these tools used in a couple of conventions. I'm in California, so, no big shock there. And
you're in San Francisco, so no big shock there.
But if that's kind of the thing is, Rich, actually these tools can be really useful to help, and I'll use the loaded word, gatekeep your game. Because exactly like what you said, of just going this way, the people can self-censor themselves out of that, of just going, okay, you don't sound like you would be really fun to play with. Because I mean, I don't see these tools being used on, your neighborhood home table that you're working with, but they're great tools for if you're at a convention or somewhere new and you want to work with some things. And also, like you said, maybe, you want to run a game at a convention, but you don't want to run a full-on, well, to use James's metaphor, a very grapey game, Yes, this game is full of grapists, but, it's just, but
he's a convicted grapist. Oh, no!
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, maybe some people like really dark and really dank stuff, and it's like the same way of going, okay, maybe I don't want to get into deep, like, Wraith game that, involves a bunch of children that were killed as, and I'm going,
I've had people...
I would read that novel, but I don't want to play the role-playing game,
I've had GMs lay out that their game was going to be dark and gritty, and I was like, cool, thanks for letting me know in advance. Have fun. Not interested. So I was able to self-censor myself out of it because I'm not going to have fun in that game, and I would ruin it for everybody else. Why would I want to be there?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Games don't need to be for everybody. And I feel like that's a huge thing with Twitter is that like they feel like everything has to be for everybody.
So Dana's going to join us for a moment, just because he said he has a few.
He's having a moment of rage.
Yeah, be civil, sir. But he's not on yet. So, but
we occasionally on our podcast have moments of rage, so I understand how this works.
I'm about to
Twitter
go
does suck.
into my little moment of rage here. It's not really a moment of rage, but and this has been a big controversy, and it's been all over Twitter. Or at least all over Twitter and the circles I work in. So there is another YouTuber, goes by Jenny D, who is amusing. Like she's neither here nor there. It's not someone that I would immediately like go, oh my God, Jenny D's got a video, I'm gonna go watch it. Just not my thing. But she did come on, I think a week ago, and basically say that, you know, she was going that basically anyone who didn't use safety tools is an asshole, and she's basically going to block anyone who disagrees with her. And that's
don't throw me in that briar patch.
Yeah.
And that just triggered a bunch of more the conservative YouTubers that I follow. I follow everybody, so like it's not a big shock that I follow conservative, libertarian, whatever. Like I'm just politically so neutral that I just like to hear everyone's comments and understand what they're trying to say. But that just triggered something, and then they got pissed off and said something against it, and then another person who is basically just, I guess, in love with Ginny, white knighted her. It's like, oh my God, how could you say that? And all you people are assholes. And it just caused this thing across Twitter of all these different YouTubers creating their own videos, either basically to defend it or to go against it. And
I mean, it's free clicks. It's Ginny D.
It's content.
Yeah,
It
put
is.
her in your thumbnail and you get free content.
But
And if
that's
you're
the thing,
monetized-
though. Maybe, and that's, I always think about that. Well, maybe I need to be more of a pundit and get out there and do, but I don't want to do that
No.
because I don't want people to
Please
hate
don't.
me. Like it's weird how like the people who have the huge, 1K, 2K, 20K followings are the jerkwads on all ends of the spectrum.
Ugh.
But
If you don't
Dana,
mind me,
sorry,
I'm
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Dana, are you joining us? Because we're about to hit the next topic. So I'm waiting for you to.
You better come in now, Dana, or we're going to move on without you.
Stay away. Yeah, Dana, I don't really.
I was going to say
Oh.
to your point, James, is that unfortunately you don't get up to about. Well, it's a reality. You don't get up to 20 to 38K people unless you are one of those people that hits in. I mean, and without being hyperbolic, it literally is. You need to pick a fight and stick with it, so you get an army of people who rapidly agree with you. You're whoops. Oh yeah, it's in the chat, Dana. You'll have to scroll back up to find it. Yeah,
He may not have been able to see it. There's something weird sometimes with the chats where it doesn't actually send the links out to everybody. He may not actually have seen that link.
Ah. Is there a way
I'm
to
not
DM Dana?
I'm not on YouTube, so you think I watch my own show? Let me see here. I'll just go on YouTube really quick to see if it actually appeared or not.
I can see it in the YouTube chat, but I've got.
Oh, it's in the YouTube chat. Okay. Oh, there he is. All right. So let's bring on Dana.
My body's prepared for Dana.
Yeah.
Stand back, everyone.
Okay, I have arrived. I am here.
We're
Thank
so
you.
glad that you can read and find the links because it's we were really holding our own.
I did not see the link at all. You were right. I had to hit the conversation, like turn it off and turn it back on, and all of a sudden the link popped up. So the whole time you guys are talking, I'm sitting there and there's no link. So I'm like, where's the link? All right, it's time for me to go on a rant. I'm sorry. Look, you and I, James, know how our games used to be. Okay.
Yeah.
We had some great times. We had some crazy games. We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs. Nobody was triggered. Nobody had any of this stuff going on. And I want to say this. Anybody who is that damn triggered don't need to be playing the damn game. Okay? I mean, I'm serious. This is freaking ridiculous.
Oh,
You know, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, all due respect, if there's anybody who doesn't agree with me, vafagu. You know,
Dana, I've got a request for you, Dana. I think
Yes,
you're holding
sir.
back. You needed to go ahead and tell us what you really think.
I'm a bit. Look, I'm a bit.
You drove
I'm a
Bryce
bit-
off. He's looking for his X card. Bryce is looking for his X card.
I'm a
brought up
bit.
too much.
I'm a bit animated. I'm sorry. I'm a bit loud. James, actually, ask James about my infamous "I go berserk" moment. Okay, he'll tell you about that later on. It was hilarious. They've never let me live that one down. But no, I mean, come on. If you're gonna be role playing, you don't need to be. Oh, I can't handle this. It's books, dice, paper, and imagination. You're telling a story. You're participating in the story. You are not really doing it. So
what
even
if
if you
it's-
have a phobia, there's no reason to be freaking out and triggered when it's just imagination.
But what if
My
it's
God,
wrong
how
think?
hard is that to
It could be
understand?
wrong think, and then my imagination is evil if I'm wrong thinking.
Oh, no.
See, I'm sorry. You know what? I couldn't play in a game like that with people because I literally would go berserk. I would just be like, I'm out of here. I'm done. I can't handle this. No. Now, I'm sorry. I've been loud. I've ranted. It's actually, I love you guys. I love watching this. James, you know, we brothers. Hermanos to the end, bro. Bryce, you look hella different, man. I thought it was a clone.
It's because I don't have color in my hair anymore.
Right, man. I mean, the whole gray beard thing just threw me. You know why? Because I remember you in the way you looked before, and the way you look now. I can see you're you, but you look a little different.
That's because I transit. Thanks, bigot.
Terry, always a pleasure, my man. I love your cats. Gwen, nice to meet you. My name is Dana. I've been friends with James and Bryce for a very long time. So,
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
James, thank you for letting me get on here with you. I appreciate that very much.
No problem. All right, man. We need to go to the next topic, but good to see you and glad to have you on.
Yes, sir.
Good to see
Hey,
you.
whenever you can let me on, I appreciate it, man. I do.
All right. Take care, man.
You too.
All right. So yeah, I mean, but it's like even Dana, like that's a valid point, right? It's like some people are very old school about their gaming, and gaming to them is. But I think where the point is, and then I'll switch because we're getting towards the end here, and I want to get Terry's Kickstarter in. The thing is, to me, I think the divide is really between home games and convention games, because in a home game, you know your audience, you know your players.
Oh, yeah.
And even if a new player comes in, they're going to know your friends who are going to say, hey, no, this is how the game goes, and that person can make their decision. Convention is a lot different because you're at a table with 6 people you may have never gamed with before, each of them with their own experiences, and that's a little bit more difficult. And I think that's where that discussion in the beginning, like I said, can help to go, hey, this is the game, this is what we're doing. And first of all, like when I do a convention game, I always put it as rated R, and I will put in there that grindhouse themes, things like that, because I always run like really, believe it or not, my games are actually very calm, but I like to always put in that there's gonna be like really horrible and blood squishing everywhere, but it doesn't usually end up like that. But at least it's a warning to say, hey, this game may kind of go off the rails, so be careful. And then if they still come to the table, you just kind of reiterate that. And I always try to do that early, like give them 10 minutes before the game starts, because then I can help them find another table, right? I don't want to
exactly. That's
yeah. It's like, hey, you
like
might
public game. Public games would be like very different. Like obviously, you want to do like safety tools, like not maybe the whole 9 yards, but like at least get them an understanding of like what you're planning in your game and what's going to be in there and what could be controversial.
Absolutely.
Well, and it also helps to head off any issues that you might get, not only due to like controversial issues, but even when you start getting into role playing style issues. Like, oh God, you're not going to be one of those funny noise type, or oh my God, you're not going to be a number crunching, war gamer, that sort of thing. Because there's already plenty of things to argue about before you start throwing in of just going, oh, I'm scared of intestines,
Then the Conan game may not be for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's nothing but intestines, buddy.
All right, so let's go to our last topic of the evening, which is going to be Kickstarters. I got to create a bumper for it, so I'll just reuse an old bumper here that probably won't even make any sense. But I'll use one that actually looks good and doesn't make any sense at all.
Just
Yay!
Yay!
Because ironically, it is a news flash that Terry has another Kickstarter to show.
That's not a news flash. I have got tons of Kickstarters. That's my hobby. So this one is from a couple of years ago. The One Ring role-playing game. I support it. It's a great book. The book feels so good, and I like the art style that it's got in it. It's a hefty book with. I like the styling of the pages and the stuff. It's got some pretty interesting art, things like that.
Wow.
In there. Pretty awesome stuff. And it's from Free League, and it came with the book itself, the starter set.
Good Lord.
A nice Game Master screen, and even a supplement, Ruins of the Lost Realm. And it's not a 5e system. It's using their own home design system for it. And I've skimmed through it, not enough to know how it's played, but to know that it seems to make a whole lot of sense. James has got some of the documentation online there so we can see it. I think it works better on the side, James.
Yeah, I think
with
so
us
too.
on the side.
Side.
There you go.
There we go.
But slide down in there and show some of that amazing artwork, because this is a really beautiful set. And the reason I brought it up today is because they just started their Moria Kickstarter. And I was like, oh yeah, gotta sign up for that one. Because I was like, oh yeah.
This is really cool. A lot of that page art looks like 70s style,
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Like Brothers Hildebrandt or...
Exactly.
Oops. Yeah, I mean, it's really... I mean, honestly, I've had... So this is actually, I think, the second edition, but the third printing of the book, if I'm not mistaken. But this game is fairly unique in the sense that it's not your average D&D crawl, right? It's not your like you have hit points and you're gonna swing swing a sword or whatever. You will. However, this game was actually very nicely written to reflect Tolkien's writing and the journey. So there's actually this game actually has the most awesome travel rules you'll ever see in an RPG.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Because what did
Yeah.
they do?
I think it was partly inspired by Ryutama, if I remember correctly. Because Ryutama is all about journeying.
I've got the dice around somewhere.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of them that I can bring out to show them, because I must have them stashed away in a different spot. Come on, open up dice thing. There we go. They actually, when they did this, they misprinted a couple of dice and had to send replacement dice.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, the D12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got the red ones for the evil, and I've got the white ones for the good. And I don't know where they are, but they're here somewhere amongst all my stuff.
Yeah, it's honestly the system is really awesome. It feels like Tolkien because there's been a couple of different Tolkien based RPGs that have been over the years. Like I know Decipher did a Lord of the Rings game back in like the
There, I found one.
oh
There it is.
oh. So, um, which just felt like a D20 game with Tolkien, tied onto it. There's Middle Earth Adventuring or MERP.
Middle Earth role-playing game. It's MERP.
Yeah, that happened. That was like the late '80s or mid '80s, and that game was based.
That was super expensive, also,
and it was also based on Rollmaster, so you needed a degree in like physics in order to like.
I want the critical hit charts from Rollmaster. Damn it!
Oh.
Them were the days. But
whose kitty is going berserk?
Mine.
Oh no! Gwen, is that your kitty?
Yes.
Someone needs to
screaming.
Pick Kitty up. We need to see the kitty.
She's fun. I was gonna try and pick her up, but she'd probably yell at me more.
But it's definitely worth picking up. You can get it, and just a couple of comments on it that. In this day and age of like Wizards, here goes my Wizards of the Coast rant. You know.
Oh, here we go. Moment of rage. Here we are.
My body's ready again.
In the days where Wizards of the
oh, very exciting. Hello, Kitty. I see you.
Why are you grumpy?
Because you're talking to someone that's not her.
In this, and honestly, in this day and age where Wizards of the Coast is shilling some of the worst material to date. Like there's stewards of D&D and they've really fallen behind the 8 ball. Paizo's doing okay. I'm hoping that they kind of pick up, but Free League is class. I mean, everything they make is gold. So this is the One Ring, the Tolkien RPG. They also did a game based on Blade Runner, which is amazing. Yeah, Terry's going to go run and grab them all as I speak about them, which is amazing. And the starter set, yep, there it is. The starter set is neat because in the starter set, so there's a pre-made adventure in there and everything. But instead of like how most things will do is that they'll tell you inside the little folding the book that, oh, this is what you need to do, or show this little picture to your players. You actually get a manila envelope in there that has all the handouts, and they even do cool things like, so you remember that scene in Blade Runner where Decker's like looking at that picture and he goes, enhance sector 32, and it goes click, 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 click. They actually give you alternate versions of the same picture so you can actually do that effect with your handouts.
Oh,
okay,
that's cool.
funny.
The Aliens RPG that they put out is also top class. They have a mechanic in there called stress that every time you gain stress, you have to roll stress dice on top of your other dice, which can cause more stress dice to happen. And I actually did a live stream of Chariots of the Gods. Terry, you were in that.
I was there.
Yeah, it just got ugly.
One of our players got whapped out by stress.
Yeah, like crashed his ship because they were so stressed out they couldn't do anything. They were like, horrified. But yeah, Free League, they just actually released Dragonbane.
Yeah,
which is a fantasy game that has ducks in it. I highly recommend. It is a very cool game. So yeah, I mean, I don't get paid by Free League, but I'm going to say if you're going to look for a new role playing game to play, yeah, there it is. Awesome game.
Gary's got like a game store in his room.
Pretty much. So yeah, if you're going to do a new game, get something from Free League because the quality of the work. Everything, you're not going to be disappointed. It is going to be some amazing stuff. I would say second runner-up. Oh, yeah, the Twilight 2000. They actually did a new version of it, which...
Really? They came out with a new version? Okay, I
did.
Curious member berries from the original version. I wonder how they're going to do it now nowadays, because, back in the 80s when it first came out, you knew it was like 20 minutes a thing. Now we're living in it, so it's like, what's the role playing in it now?
It's more of a LARP.
Yeah.
We were playing in the 80s when I was in the U.S. Army, so we were playing it going, yeah, let's play this Twilight 2000 game. Let's see what could possibly happen.
To answer Dana's question about the Kingdom of Kalmar, is that the one that was put out by like White Wolf's subsidiary? I think it was called oh my god, Sword and Sorcery Studios. But I mean, you can adapt most settings to anything. You just have to strip out all the D20 like references. But anyway, just to finish on my games that might interest you. So anything by Free League Class Act. If you want something else, Modifius, who does Star Trek, who does John Carter, Warlord of Mars, who does Conan, Mutant Chronicles. I mean, you name it, they've done it. They've been around for a while. They use something called the 2D20 system, which is really cool. It's kind of like if you took, I don't know, D20 and mixed it in with Alternity and then mixed it in with Fate. That's kind of the experience their games are with 2D20. So you can't go wrong with either company. So if you're looking for something, you want to get out of that half-ass printing WotC crap that they shell out to you at a high price, look at Free League, because you're going to get beautiful art. You're not going to get twink minotaurs. You're not going to get like any of the the crap that they're shilling these days. So anyway, oops, stop sharing. But that is it. I've now had my WotC rant. I will definitely follow up with a word of advice.
You serious? You don't know. Everybody knows you never go full retard.
So yep, words of wisdom to live by, and I don't know. I'll expect the hate mail and or
I was going to say that's 3/4 of my games. That's going to be the name of my new game, Full Retard. Yep.
There we go. And FR for those who are triggered by the word.
Oh
so.
God, did I just demonetize you? I demonetized you.
So if I had monetization, I would worry, but I am so far. Let me. If I look at our
wow, you got so excited, Bryce, that you unfuzzed your room.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that the fuzzing was slowly making me more and more blurry, and I was going, am I having a stroke, or is this...
He's fading out. He's fading out.
Yeah.
All right, we're up 2 more
toast?
subscribers. So now we have 242 more to go. So
Hey, we're getting there.
Yeah, I know. So my suggestion to my group here and your friends, remember the press gangs. Just go out with a club and get subscribers in any way you can. Or
next thing you know, you're on your way to Singapore trying to figure out how to run a freighter.
I was going to say, James, you're from San Francisco. This should be old hat to you. We're like the homeless Shanghai.
Or just get the coins and drop them into people's tankards, but then that causes a choking hazard too. If I remember correctly, wasn't that the reason why they made glass bottom tankards?
Yes, it was. Yes. I don't know if it's real, but that's, during the Dickens Fair, that was the story that they always gave us. That way you could look up and see him going, no, you're not pressing me into the Navy.
Yeah, because if they put the coin in and you drank what was in the tankard,
you took basically the king's coin. Yeah.
Yep. And you are now a member of the Navy. So it's
you're now a member of my campaign.
You are now a subscriber to my...
Here's your character sheet.
It's nothing but grapes.
All right. So anyway, I think that will wrap us up for tonight. So Bryce, thank you for joining us. If you can join us again, that would be awesome.
No problem. This was a lot of fun.
And
I live in San Francisco. Nobody talks to one another anymore. So this is as close as social as I get.
Dana, thank you for coming on. Rant appreciated. Maybe we should just have a segment with Dana, the
Dana's angry moment,
or the rage segment, kind of like Peter Griffin's "Grind My Gears" from Family Guy. When he come on and goes, just you know what really grinds my gears?
Wasn't there a Hot Topic? Hot topic
Well,
button.
Yeah, we do have the hot topic thing. So
Aren't we supposed to make up GM advice yet? We should be making up GM advice.
We're already at time. So GM advice is that get sleep because it's important.
Roll dice.
Yeah, roll dice. Terry,
Make
what's
sure
your
you have your pedals available.
Yep.
Keep grapes handy in case you need to offend someone.
There we go. So Bryce has a new mythos attached to him now. Like, yeah,
I
there's that.
love the idea of the game where the player is the GM, but all the other players are antagonists. That no matter what idea he does, somebody's going to throw up. I'm triggered by that. I can't do it, and they have to constantly remake their campaign on the fly, and they lose.
There's an
they
improv
broke their
game
hand.
based off of that. More so not based off of that, but very much like that, where it's like you kind of have to. Someone can say no, actually, and then you have to like make something else up on the fly,
Exactly,
and then and it just.
Those are the kind of
chains
players
off
you
of
want to have for a paranoia game.
that.
Oh, I miss Paranoia so badly.
All right. So anyway, I am JC. You can find me over on Twitter at Grindhouse Media. We also I didn't do my shell, so I can do it now and then pass it on to someone. So anyway, we like money. Support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/grindhouse_media. You're already probably watching us on YouTube, but if you're watching us and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We like money. And on Facebook, I got to get rid of this one because I never go on Facebook anymore, really.
That's why you're well adjusted.
And then last but not least, you can buy t-shirts and bags and underwear and masks and all kinds of stuff with our logos on it, even including the very racy I forgot. Damn it! Why can't I think of her name now?
Was it Roxanne?
No, it wasn't Roxanne, and I feel so bad now that I totally forgot her name.
Well, you just
Sophie.
go ahead and cover it up. You could cover it up by saying you're just going to go ahead and start making a new line called the Angry Grape line of underwear.
There you go, the Angry Grape. So anyway, the Sophie logo and some of our adult alternative play logos, all on there. If you want t-shirts and whatnot, stop on by. So with that said, I will stop doing that because I always forget to get rid of that. And we'll go to Bryce. Any parting words?
No. Other than I'm very happy on that. If you want to find me, you can go because I'm not on Facebook.
You can go F yourself. Go grape yourself.
All right, Gwen, be nice. No, I just go ahead.
Hi. Bye.
All right, Terry.
I'm Terry Mixon. I write science fiction. You can find me on Amazon, where my most recent publication last weekend is still the #1 military science fiction book on Amazon.
Nice.
Awesome. And with that said, have a good night.